Welcome back to the Brew Crew Podcast, everyone. This is episode 280, special episode, coming from the Carriage House Bar, everyone's favorite neighborhood bar. Better than Cheers, of course.
It is better than Cheers.
Is it as good or better than the Church Room Bar? In my opinion, yeah.
I would say.
I enjoy the company at the Church Room Bar, but I like the Carriage House better.
Carriage House is great.
And it's comfortable.
Carriage House it just reminds you of home, doesn't it?
Reminds me of home. Reminds me of home real well.
Yeah, exactly.
Chuggalo SFIL in the house today. Yo. I wish I had air horn. I had that mat board. I can get like a sound thing on my phone. We can do that, or maybe I'll put it in post production. But that'd take forever.
Yeah, it would. Next time I'll have to create a walk up song. I'll have to have Joshua create a walk up song.
Ooh, yeah, walk up songs. Those are important. They're getting you don't get them in high school. But some high schools probably do, like the really good ones.
And the boys just make them up for themselves. Cheers!
Yeah, cheers. So we got some starter beers here. We're just talking about Chuggalo SFIL needs to make his way to Halls and get some new beer. We can talk about how he selects his beer. I can talk about how I already told him how I did kind of spoiled the surprise. But my starter beer is nowhere in particular. Makes me a hike. I think we had this. I'll find the episode number. Oh.
Yeah,
great beer.
That's a
good
beer.
Sour. What do you got?
I got a beer by Off Color Brewing called Beer for Huddles. It's an amber ale, and never had it before. Never even heard of it. Never heard of them. It's very good. 5.2%. 5 different malts. 5 in an amber ale. Victory malt, pale ale, Munich, caramel, and roasted barley. And the hops are Super Saazers.
Super Saazers.
I've been a brewer.
Why can't I search?
And I've never even heard of those. You know? Saaz, yeah, I've heard. I was telling JT before this that Saaz hops are famous old noble hops. They're some of the original noble hops from Germany and Austria and Czechoslovakia that they used to make the original lagers and still do. A lot of the American brewers that are trying to make European lager styles use Saaz hops. Very popular, but I've never heard of Super Saazers. Never heard of them.
Super Saazers.
Anyway.
Supersize Me.
According to them...
Which we just talked about Supersize Me last week real quick, not to interrupt.
Oh, really?
And the guy who did it, Morgan, whatever his name is, he died. The week we talked about it.
No.
He died last week. I shit you not.
Who was
Steph texted me. Out shout to Steph. Great
me.
Dude. Yeah, he died. And we talked about him on the podcast that week. It's almost fortuitous. Almost like as if we had something to do with it. But we didn't.
Damn. You don't want to be talked about on this show. Just saying.
So we had Beer for Hoops on episode 184. Keep going. Sorry.
Beer for Hoops. Anyway, their secret technique, according to Off Color Brewing, is unsportsmanlike conduct. I kind of like that. It's irreverent.
We had Beer for Ball Games, episode 148. Keep going, sorry.
Well, we got Beer for Hoops, Beer for Ball Games.
I don't know, Beer for Huddle. I must have been actually probably trying to save that for an episode, and I didn't do it, so whoops.
Well,
whoopsie daisy. I should have waited.
I gave it a partial review. It said what's in it at least. It's good. It's a balanced, very, tastes like an amber ale. So
tastes like an amber ale. It's
good.
Got those Sawzall hops.
It does. It has Sawzall. It's got the Super Sawzall. I guess you say Super when you're German or you're half in the bag after having several of these. I'm not.
You can say it if you're not any of those things.
Really?
This is America.
Say it.
Super.
God, he said it, man.
This is America. We have freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want.
Do we still have that?
It doesn't mean that you can't say anything you want without consequence. It just means you can say whatever you want without consequence from the government. So, somebody might fire me for saying Super.
You might get canceled.
You can get fired for that. But you can't get sued. I don't know. I don't know all the rules.
We'll never cancel you, and we'll never...
Thanks.
We'll never fire
Someone
you.
will cancel me. I'm sure it'll happen. But let's...
It may have already happened. It may have already...
So we talked about... Pre-production, we talked about going and buying beer.
Oh, yes.
Now we're going to, let's say, we're going to a fantastic mart where they have great selection of beer. We're talking Arrow. We're talking Hall's, which is Hall's Corner over in Beaver Creek, or Fairborn, or wherever that is on Kemp and Grange Hall, I think.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know any other roads, like anywhere.
I'm so impressed right now.
But anyway, I know that one. So if you're going to these great places that have beer, you got to have a strategy. You can't just go in blind. You can't just go buying IPAs, which I know a lot of people do. You got to have a strategy. My strategy is find beers first that, I've already told you this, so I know it's not new, but tell the Chuggalos, my strategy is find beer categories I haven't had before. So new types of beer types that I haven't had, or find interesting, or some combination of, maybe it's like a sour IPA with something I've never had as an ingredient, or maybe it's like a brown ale with some crazy ingredients in it, or also some sort of beer I've never tried. After I've exhausted that list, then I go and I try to find. Then I look at all the can art, and the most interesting can arts are the ones I look at, twist them around. Oh, what's this? This is an IPA. Pass. This is this. This is that. So then I find only the ones that interest me most, that really pique my interest. So sorry if you make an IPA, but I'm not interested in just trying a standard IPA. When I'm at a craft beer store, I'll try IPAs typically at a restaurant. When I'm eating, I'll get an IPA with my food, and I'll try a new one. I always try to try a new one. But when I'm at the store, there's too many IPAs. How do I choose between them? You got to do something spectacular. Can art's one way to differentiate yourself. The other way is with flavors.
Yep.
Additives.
Yep. Adjuncts. Yep.
Preservatives and chemicals, and mostly pesticides.
Pesticides.
Add pesticides to your beer.
Crap.
So man, that's my strategy, and then I usually will stick around 4 packs. Or, now this is rare, but I try to keep everything under $80. I don't know why 80, and it never works. Because I always usually wind up getting 5 4-packs, or like 3 4-packs and a 6-pack or something. Or I'll get like a single that's super expensive, like a $20 or $30 single.
Yeah.
And I never get. I don't know why 80.
Yeah, it's a guidepost.
I think 80 is just a number that like my wife won't ask about. But like once I get to like 90 or 100, she starts being like, "You spent a lot on beer today, huh?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, like what is your point?"
That's as sound a reason and strategy as in any, and sound advice and wise advice about your picker, how you go about your selection process, which, by the way, I am going to adopt. I said to JT and Katie before we even came up here that it's long past time for me to go to Hall's and make a run, and I need to try something new, something different, and get out of the rut that I'm in.
Get out of the rut.
And John provided that, so I am going to employ that strategy and methodology, and I'm going to go.
What's
I'm
your
going to go
current
this week.
strategy?
My current strategy is to go in there and just look for anything that looks interesting, but I typically tend to gravitate towards the things I know and like IPAs, boring, and away from the things that I typically wouldn't buy, like sours, juicies, that sort of thing, which I want to actually
You don't
embrace.
want juicies.
No, I typically wouldn't, because I typically have never historically bought them, but the ones that I've tried that you've turned me on to, I actually really like them. So I am going to forcibly make myself not buy any IPAs and buy all new things.
Smart.
Based on that strategy, based on a brewer that I don't know, never heard of before, or even if I have heard of them, I've never heard of the beer or the style of beer before, and I'll maybe choose those. But it'll be different styles that I typically would normally never purchase historically, because I want to have a refrigerator full of new and different stuff.
Yeah, take a risk.
Yep, take a risk.
Find some stuff that interests you. Or like there's a beer that we had recently on, I don't know, 2 episodes ago, Pendejo Porter. I didn't want to buy this beer. There's nothing special about it on the can. Can art's boring, but the name sold me.
Yeah, I've had that one before.
I didn't want to buy it. Yeah, New Mexico. You went to New Mexico, had that beer?
Pendejo. You know what that means?
Yeah.
That's good.
It's good. Pendejo.
Yep.
Order.
Pendejo. Be careful who you call Pendejo.
You know what? It's free country. Call whoever you want Pendejo.
Well, you might get physical backlash. That's all I'm saying.
Today is all about pie, even though it's not pie day. I've got 2 pie beers.
Oh.
I hope you're excited about these pie beers.
Pie beers must mean it's going to be a sour, I'm guessing?
Maybe. So, let's see. I don't know what order to do these in. What should I go? Let's see. Should I go with... oh, man. Dave is not going to like that noise. Dave, that's why the t-shirts are there.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
It's okay. It's not just Dave. Dave just speaks for the people who don't... You know how there's only some people comment? So it's not... I'm not calling you out, Dave. But he speaks for the people who don't speak up.
I like that. That's a good trait.
It's loud. You put this in your car speakers, and that bottle opener is going to be just like, boom! Anyway, not your fault. You didn't know.
Oh, well.
You didn't know that you were going to pick that up and it was going to fall?
No.
So you were going to say?
I forgot what I was going to say now.
So we can go with, you know what, I'll just go with the order, I think. So today we got Braxton, that's yours. I got 2, one for each of us. Sorry about the bag noises.
Nice.
We got a beer collaboration. We've done this collab before, but it's Braxton with Graeters. Graeters ice cream. We love Graeters. Not as much as Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen's the bomb.
Yep.
Dairy Queen's the top dog. Blizzards are the best. Graeters is next, near there.
Yeah.
The Buckeye is amazing ice cream.
Yep, it's good. It's more expensive than DQ.
It is more expensive than DQ.
They have more flavors.
Their shakes are good.
Their shakes are really good.
We can talk about that.
Yep.
This is Braxton Brewing Company's Graeters collaboration Lemon Merengue Pie Berliner Style Ale with lemon, vanilla, and cinnamon. Let's crack this open and then we can talk about it.
I am looking forward to this. This is going to be very, very interesting.
Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. There you go. Now we got these snifters. If you're interested, you can pour yours in there. I'll drink out of the can. Love lemon. I think lemon is... so I do love... Everyone knows I love chocolate because we talk about it all the time. But lemon, sweet lemon, sugary lemon is probably one of the best flavors that you can put in a dessert. You got lemon bars, lemon pound cake.
Yep.
Lemon meringue pie.
Yep. Lemon bars.
Other things.
Lemon bars.
Lemon bars. I think I mentioned those.
When I was...
cinnamon rolls with a lemon glaze.
Lemon cheesecake. When I was growing up...
lemon cheesecake.
Oh, man.
Not as big of a fan of that.
When I was growing up, DQ used to have a lot more flavors than they had now, and they used to have a lemon. And you could actually order a lemon shake, and that was my all-time favorite. Love lemon shakes. I love anything lemon. Like those lemon Girl Scout cookies, I don't even know if you can buy those anymore. Those lemon cream-filled ones.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell they call them, or if they're even available, but those used to be my favorite.
So Girl Scout cookies I often buy. Everyone buys the Tagalongs or the Thin Mints or the Samoas. I buy the lemon ones.
Yeah, me too.
The lemon ones are the bomb. Don't fuck with those.
Man, this is good.
So this beer is good. So this is Braxton. Well, Graeters, we know that's a Cincinnati business, I believe. They're out of Cincinnati, and they make ice cream. We have one in my town, which is adjacent to Dayton. So I did buy this beer, and I wasn't sure at the time because I didn't look at the label. Braxton is from Covington, Kentucky. I bought this beer in Kentucky, actually. My son had a tournament in northern Kentucky, just over the border, just over the Ohio River. We went into Kentucky, and I bought this beer because I saw it at a gas station when I was buying sunflower seeds to spit all over the field, you know? And I was like, whoa, this beer looks amazing. I love lemon. And this beer is either going to be amazing or terrible, and either way, it makes for a great pod. Now, I also have beers still remaining from my road trip. Those are reserved for the Matt and JT episodes. These ones, we're going to do these here. Now, I do have extras for Matt, so don't worry, everyone. So, Braxton, Covington, Kentucky.
You want me to read what they say
Graeters,
about
Cincinnati, since 1870. You'd like to read it? Sure, read it.
I didn't know.
You don't have to read it all.
1870. Wow. Treat yourself to a refreshing and innovative brew that combines the zesty essence of lemons with the sweet indulgence of meringue, reminiscent of that classic dessert. At first sip, this Berliner captures the tangy lemon filling, providing a bright and citrusy profile that harmonizes with the beer's effervescence and Berliner-style base. The addition of meringue-inspired flavors adds a delightful sweetness, creating a balanced and dessert-like experience that we love. Well, I'd have to say, I'm in agreement with them.
Right. So there's a lot there. Lemon meringue is awesome. So the lemon part of a lemon meringue pie typically has like a tart, gelatinous almost, very light, almost like juicy, watery kind of not texture but flavor. So it's not like creamy. The creaminess comes from the meringue, and it's an interesting texture and an interesting flavor because on the lemon specifically, it's soft. It's not. It's like spreadable almost, like a jam or a jelly, but even thinner. So it's like it's almost like hair gel consistency. And that's the only thing I can think of right now with that type of consistency. But man, it's just it's that. And then meringue, you got that meringue, which is whipped egg whites with sugar. I think is all that's in meringue.
With the sugar, and when it's baked, there's a hard little crusty shell on the outside of it. So you bite into it, and it's incredible, right? It's sweet. It's light on the inside, and it's almost like it melts in your mouth on the inside, but it's this crunchy little crustiness on the outside. And then when you add to that the lemon filling part of it, oh my gosh. It's
the consistency of all of the ingredients in this, other than the pie crust itself, they're all unique to these types of pies.
Completely.
Like pie filling typically has that like thick, jelly-like kind of texture, but when you add in that foamy meringue, and it's not meringue like a meringue cookie. Meringue cookies are also amazing. Also, the only reason to even go to Trader Joe's, because there are zero real reasons to go to Trader Joe's, but the one reason you could justify is to buy their meringue cookies.
I didn't even know they had them.
Yeah, amazing. They're like really, really good.
Oh man,
really good, just awesome. Meringue's the whipped egg thing, right? Yeah. Okay, so same thing. But on a pie, it's like fluffy, kind of wet. Like if you would refrigerate it, whereas the cookies you don't need to refrigerate. And it's got this just foamy, almost
fluffy.
Like it's like a thick foam. It's like a sponge version of whipped cream.
Yeah,
it's like a spongy version of whipped cream. Very light. It jiggles like Jell-O, but has the lightness of whipped cream. It's crazy. Anyway.
But it's a little firm, so like whipped cream, you let whipped cream sit for a while, it's going to dissolve and disintegrate. It's going to melt, right? Meringue will hold its shape because it's like toasted when it's baked. And so it's just really interesting.
It'll hold its shape.
The textures are really unique. You bite into it, you get the crunchiness at first, then you get the sponginess of the filling, and then you get the crust. I mean, the whole thing is just, that's why we love lemon meringue.
All right. So you want to describe what you're tasting?
Oh man! First thing that hits you is the sweetness and the lemon of the meringue, and it's just it's so good. It's just so good. And then as it's going over my palate, it's just smooth, and the lemon just stays on there, and you get the essence of the vanilla, which kind of is what's reminding you of the meringue. And you also get a little hint of cinnamon right on the finish. But not so much that the cinnamon overpowers the rest of it. It just is really nice. It sits right in the mix, and it's just a little subtle hint of it. And man, that's just a great way to finish. And then I don't know about you. The finish is really long, and it stays with you on the back of your palate for, like, I'm still tasting it from several minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Really
got a fun
good.
dip effect.
It does, and I'm not. It's not beery at all.
It's not beery.
I'm not tasting any like typical beer hops. Malt flavors, hardly at all. It's like pure drinking liquid lemon meringue.
It really is.
It's really good. It's really outstanding.
You got a score?
Oh, not yet.
I got my score already. If you want to give it, it won't influence me. Or you can wait.
Man.
It's up to you.
This is so unique, and I'm so happy to be here and drinking something different and so good like this. This is going to be, oh man, what are the increments again? 0.25?
0.25.
Between a 4.25 and a 4.5.
All right.
I'm going to say 4.5.
4.5.
I'm going for it.
Excellent. Excellent score. So I get a lot of the same things. The first flavor I get, all of the meringue and the creaminess on the breath out through the nose. Wow. The palate is all lemon, but it's not lemon in the way that is like lemon candy or even a shandy style beer. It's lemon like lemon meringue. Somehow they nailed that jelly like weird. That's why I mentioned it specifically. It was like they figured it out. This has that sugary sweet lemon pie filling. Which is the only way to describe it. Pie filling flavor.
And that you're right. They absolutely crushed it.
They crushed it.
Oh, and by the way, I think that's Graeters' contribution, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. And the meringue is, I feel like the creaminess comes out on the breath with the vanilla, which makes sense. Vanilla has a lot on the nose for a lot of these beers. Mm-hmm. Now, where I think the cinnamon contributes, I think we have a little bit of molecular gastronomy going on here. What I think they're doing, because you wouldn't put cinnamon in a lemon meringue. And when I first tasted the beer, I actually thought to myself, wow, there's crust in this beer. And that would normally be in the form of like a graham cracker. But I think what the cinnamon does is it tricks your mind into thinking that there's a almost like bitter, not graham cracker, whatever the other type of pie crust is, more of like a bready.
Yeah, flour.
Yeah, just like a flour pie crust. There's something about the specific pie crust that would be in a lemon meringue, which maybe it is graham cracker, I don't know. But there's something that's tricking my mind into thinking that that's a crust flavor, and it comes right at the end. Like,
yep.
It's the last flavor you taste, and it actually is the thing, even though the sourness of the lemon sticks around the palate for a while, that crust cinnamon flavor, that's really what like the lasting flavor is, I think, on the back of your palate, back of your tongue. Just an awesome beer. They really, I think the cinnamon, I think there's more to it than our perception is maybe they just threw it in as an ingredient, but I think they are using it as a deception mechanism.
I think
they thought about it.
I think they absolutely did. I think they absolutely did, and it's a very thoughtful beer, and it's a thought-provoking beer, as you can tell. We're still talking about it. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about it long after this podcast is done. Mm-hmm. It's really well done. It's really well thought through, and every bit of this tastes like lemon meringue.
Yep.
It's just crazy how good this is.
Yeah, I agree. This beer's a home run. It's a 5.0 beer. I'm giving it a 5.0.
Oh, yeah.
It is an excellent beer. I would buy this. I think there's a point where maybe I wouldn't want to keep drinking this because it's very sweet.
It is sweet.
But it doesn't mean that I don't love this beer. It reminds me a lot of the Berliner Weiss. The peach tea Berliner Weiss that Branch and Bone made, because I remember tasting that and thinking, wow, all the flavors in here are nailed perfectly.
Yeah.
And so that's that. Now, speaking of Branch and Bone, that's the next beer. Another pie beer, Key Lime Pie Berliner.
Oh,
sour. Yes. This is a sour ale.
Oh, man.
There. And this is Branch and Bone. We're going to share this.
You're the best son. You're the best son-in-law ever.
Wow,
man! Seriously,
that's great.
key lime pie is SFIL's favorite pie in the whole world, bar none.
I do like key lime pie. I think I like lemon meringue better. I also think strawberry rhubarb probably takes the cake.
Good point.
Takes the pie.
Good point. That's my grandma's pie.
Yeah, strawberry rhubarb is legit.
Have you ever seen a strawberry rhubarb sour or ale of any?
Well, there is I think it's strawberry rhubarb. At least rhubarb is the main ingredient of a spotted cow variant.
Really?
There's a spotted cow variant that is rhubarb, at least rhubarb. I'm not sure if it's strawberry rhubarb or not.
I would love to taste that.
Well, Matt, if you next time you're in Wisconsin, if you could grab one of those for Chuggalo SFIL, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
All right, let's crack this baby open. So we got 5.0 and a 4.5 on the lemon meringue. Let's crack this Branch and Bone. Branch and Bone, amazing brewery. Ready?
Love it.
3, 2, 1. Not very primed, this can, but it is what it is.
Branch and Bone is one of the first breweries I tried when I came to Dayton, and it is one of my all-time favorites. They're awesome. I've never had a bad beer out of there, or I shouldn't say a bad beer, but a beer that I didn't like.
Yeah, I've only had, I think the only beer that I just didn't gravitate towards, and I don't think it was a bad beer. I did not like it, but it's hard to. I don't think we can assign that label because not liking a beer is actually hard. It's hard to make a beer that is like undrinkable because there's been so few. If you really boil it down. The easiest thing to do is to make a beer that's average.
Yeah,
it's really hard to make a beer that's
stand up.
That's bad. That's drain pour.
Yeah,
I actually think it's difficult. And then it is obviously hard to make a 5.0, but we get a lot of 4s. We get a lot of things in the 4s. Branch and Bone only made one beer that I would probably put below a 2.5, and it was more about preference than anything else. I don't remember which one it was. But it was one of the more traditional beers that didn't do what Branch and Bone does well. What they do well is innovate and do interesting things with beer. When they go traditional, they do a good job, but it's just not interesting. When I go to Branch and Bone, I want my socks knocked off. I always wear socks to Branch and Bone.
And
I want them knocked off.
And you want them to just, sort of organically just fly right off. Yeah. I like that. That's a good concept.
So this is a key lime pie Berliner sour ale. Lime, graham cracker, vanilla, lactose.
Oh.
Have you had a sip yet?
No. I just finished up my lemon meringue.
Might need to clean your palate with that ale or something. I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure what you need to do, but there's a lot of similarities here and a lot of differences.
You go first.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's traditionally acceptable for the guests to go first, but I will entertain so you can get a good sip and have more to talk about. So, here's some of the differences. The lime versus the lemon. Well, in the Braxton, the lemon is more sweet and delivers more of a like a pie filling style of gelatinous lemon flavor, whereas this is more like lime juiciness. It tastes more real lime. So you have like fake lime or what you would have in like a cherry limeade at Sonic, for example.
Yep.
The lime comes off as kind of this more pungent sort of like dusty lime. I don't really know how to describe it, but it doesn't really taste like if you were to bite into a lime. This seems more organic. This has more lime flavor from the actual fruit. And probably some zest, I would guess. But it doesn't have that bitterness that a zest would give you. The graham cracker, I need to probably let things sit for a minute to really let it accentuate. But I think that it's less prominent than the cinnamon was in the lemon beer.
I can tell you what I'm smelling, what my nose is telling me. So I smell lime, but it's a little more subtle in the nose. But what I smell is I smell the graham cracker, and I smell vanilla, and I think it's that combination of those two things that makes it almost smell like marshmallow when you smell it like this. Now, that's going to come across the palate differently, of course, but I would expect this to be a little more sour. Typically, lime is a little more sour than a lemon.
Yeah.
Especially...
It is more sour, and it's sour in a different way.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Have you tasted it?
No, not yet.
Yeah, don't just sniff it. I'm giving you time. I'm stalling.
Go, John.
I want you to try the beer. Wow. The one thing I will mention about beer, after having so many of them, not that I'm an expert, but I consider myself to be close to it. Lactose can doom your beer. It can. We've seen it a lot. You have a few of these things. Now, I don't know when someone says that there's marshmallow in the beer. What does that mean? I don't know. Maybe there's lactose. When they say there's vanilla, a lot of times it's sweet vanilla. What does that mean? Is it mixed with lactose? When they say there's lactose, it's obviously milk sugar.
Milk sugar, yeah.
But do all those other things have lactose? I don't know, but they're not the ingredients they list. And I think that lactose on its own brings the quality down just a tad. Whereas you could just stuff vanilla in here, maybe amp up the vanilla, or do what Braxton did and throw some cinnamon in to kind of confuse you. I think lactose has its place in things like milk stouts and milkshake IPAs, but in these sours, I don't think it's helping. And I think we've repeated this many times, Matt and I. So it's an observation that's not new. This is Branch and Bone. So Branch and Bone doesn't fuck around, and they tend to get things right. I will say that the use of lactose, I think, doesn't damage this beer, but it doesn't elevate the beer either. They could have instead opted for additional vanilla.
Yep.
I think they could have amped up the vanilla more, got rid of the lactose. Yeah, it was sweet. Okay. But what I want from this beer, and I know it's a pie, so you want it to be sweet, but what really I would want is more sour and more vanilla. And maybe that would get me to the pie. I'm just not sure. The last time I had a key lime anything was when I believe your wife made some sort of like frozen pie thing.
Yeah.
Not sure what that was. Sherbet, maybe?
No, it's her. It's one of her family's signature things. They make a pie. Katie, I know, makes it too. It's God, what the heck do they make it out of? But she makes a pie that basically is like a real lime flavored pie, and a pink grapefruit pie, and a lemon pie, and they're kind of icy, but they're
frozen, yeah.
But they're frozen, and they set up nicely, like hard to describe. They're not like chipping into ice when you eat them.
Yeah, it's like they'd be like eating like ice cream cake or a Klondike bar without the shell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're good. They're flavorful.
Soft pie, but frozen.
That's what this reminds me of. It reminds me more.
It does remind me a little bit of that, but I think the lactose is getting in the way of this beer being superior. That's what I think. I think that the lactose, maybe the lactose isn't itself doing anything wrong to this beer. What I think is that they were balancing the ingredients. And I'm not a brewer, so I'm just guessing. I think they were balancing the ingredients, and they chose less of one thing or two things for lactose. What I would recommend is get rid of the lactose. You don't need it. These beers are sweet enough. And when you're dealing with a sour ale, the highlight of that lime sour, that's what I want anyway. That's what you want people to remember this beer. You want them to drink it and be like, holy shit, that lime hit my mouth like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
I would agree with everything that John said. I believe that
the graham cracker could be amped up too.
The graham cracker is more up front than it was with the lemon meringue pie. I've tasted it right up front in about mid palate or so. before it gets back into the back of the palate. And I also taste that marshmallow taste throughout, and I'm absolutely 100% that's the lactose. That milk sugar.
Interesting.
That milk sugar imparts sweetness, but it also has a flavor to it, and that's the thing that you get in some of those other offerings that you
lactose
had.
Has a flavor for sure.
That you can taste it, and here, because it's combining with a couple of other things, it stands out, and it's the milk sugar. You know it's the lactose. It has a marshmallow kind of a flavor, which you never taste in a key lime pie. So that's the one thing about this that's not really as close to real as say compared to the Braxton lemon meringue pie. That tastes like a frickin' lemon meringue pie right there. This, I never tasted marshmallow in a, or even the esters or essence of marshmallow in a key lime pie before. But I will say they've done a great job with bringing the graham cracker kind of flavor forward so that you taste it as you're also tasting the lime, which is great because that's how you eat a pie, and you taste them at the same time. So part of it's good and part of it's not as great as you would hope. I think the sweetness is about right, but I would agree with John. I would say, also I taste more vanilla up front than waiting until sort of the finish, which also helps, I think. But I would agree with John. I don't think you need the lactose. I think you can take that out of there.
Take it out. Amp up the vanilla.
Yeah, amp up the vanilla. Because that's what they did with the Braxton, and it worked brilliantly. And you don't need that extra sugar.
Go to 450 North and find out what they're putting in that they call marshmallow.
Oh.
And do that, because marshmallow is a good flavor.
It is a great flavor.
But this is lactose, not marshmallow. Like, it's, to me, I know to you, there's some marshmallow, like, hints in there. And I think that might be a mixture of, like, the graham cracker and the lactose.
Yeah, and the vanilla.
At the end.
And the vanilla.
Yeah, there's something marshmallowy about it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But I think that there's just, like, there just needs to be something that's more standout. Man, the lime is so close. The lime is so close, in my opinion, to being the star and to making this beer a superior beer.
Yep.
But because it's where it is, I give this beer a 4 or 5. It's a phenomenal beer. And it could be a 5. And I think they continue to brew it. I'll continue to buy it because I love Branch and Bone. And this beer is definitely this beer. I've been going to Branch and Bone for a while, and it seems like they just have like IPA, then Dimmer Day, which I love, then IPA, and I'm like, man, they were so good at making sours. What the hell happened? Well, this beer reminds me of the good old days, and I would buy the shit out of this beer. Keep making it. I want to get it on tap.
I tell you what, I've said this in many episodes I've been on, but I've never historically been a sour drinker. These are the types of sours I could drink all day.
Yeah, all day? All day.
I love this beer a lot.
IPA.
I think they detract from themselves a little bit, and so, and that kind of it's not marshmallow per se, it's the essence of marshmallow. The combination of those things.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I know.
That sweet fluffiness.
It is. That doesn't belong. When you taste a key lime pie, that's not there.
Right.
So
true.
I love everything else about this. I think.
But there's like a creaminess mixed into key lime, isn't there?
There is.
Like, what's the pie filling? What are the ingredients to that?
Oh God, I don't know.
I think they're trying to mimic that.
Elena's actually made key lime pie too, but I don't know what goes in there. But it is.
Have you been to the Keys?
I have.
You had some key lime?
I've had some key lime in the Keys.
Holy shit.
Shit in Shinola.
Breaking news. Long time ago. Phil's had key limes in the Keys.
That's right. When I was going to visit my pal Jimmy Buffett.
I've never been to the Keys.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fine. I'm not missing anything.
It's a cool drive, man. That's going from Miami.
I went to Cocoa Beach.
Oh my gosh. It's a great drive. You go over all these the highway basically spans these bridges that go for like 9 miles.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's when you're driving over them, you look down and you see these coral reefs on both sides of the freeway, and obviously in the Gulf, And when you're looking at them, the sunlight, if there's a sunny day and you're lucky enough to be driving over on a sunny day, they'll change colors as you're driving by them. So you'll see pink, green, blue, red. It's underneath the water, and it's really beautiful. It's a crazy thing. You don't see that really anywhere else.
Humans are amazing. We can do amazing things.
Yeah,
9 Mile Bridges. There's a show on Netflix. I'm not sure the validity of any of it, but it's I can't remember what it's called, so that sucks. But it's all about how in history, perhaps there was a civilization before ours, a long time ago, and it totally was destroyed. And under the ocean, there's like evidence of man-made structures that are, like 1 million years old or whatever.
Highly
10,000 years old.
Highly complex, yeah. I mean, even now.
So it's like, how did that get there? Is it the pillars from a former bridge? Maybe because it's square or it's whatever it is. But you could look it up.
There's
ancient. Oh, what is it called? I don't remember.
Ancient engineers. I don't know.
No, not. It's called.
I know one thing that it's a well-known fact that the Sphinx was not built by the Egyptians. It was there when the Egyptian civilization came about.
Really?
It's ancient and it predates the Egyptian civilization. They don't know where it came from, and but they've been trying to date things and figure things out, and it's pretty crazy. Some of the stuff they've learned in the last 20, 30 years about the Sphinx, which is
I didn't know that.
It's at Cheops where the Great Pyramids are, and it stands there. Everybody knows the Sphinx. Everyone's seen it for years.
Everyone's seen it.
Degrading dramatically, but the stone they made it out of, which is all crustaceous and has, it's all made up out of shells and everything. It's been eroding rapidly, but they know that it can't possibly have come from the same era or period that the stones were cut that were made that they made the pyramids out of, and they have no idea where they came from because it's completely radically different stone that they used. And I don't know, it's just a very interesting story. But again, it talks about a prehistoric civilization of some sort,
Well.
Anyway, key lime pie, baby.
What's your score?
I'm going to have to give it a 4.25 simply because I don't think, if I would have given this a 5.0, which I think is actually a wise score on that, I would have probably given this a 4.75. Maybe.
I see.
It's not quite up to where the Braxton is, I think.
Its score suffers because you didn't give the other one a higher score. I see where you're going.
A little bit,
I see where you're going.
I mean, you got to use a.
And that would happen. I mean, if we were to rate every beer, if we were to go back and be like, "Wow, I gave all these beers 4 5s."
Yeah.
All the beers I ever gave 4 5 to, we'd be like, maybe I'd rethink some of those scores. That's fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's excellent, outstanding. Again, I would buy this again in a heartbeat, and drink it again and again.
I want to try it on tap.
Oh, that would be good, huh? I wonder if they have it on tap up there.
Maybe
we should go check that out.
I just bought it, so it's like maybe a week ago.
So it's fresh.
I don't remember how long ago I bought it. There are some interesting things on here. There's no can art, so I'm not going to do that. But there's got grains, Pilsner, white wheat, flaked wheat, adjuncts, key lime juice, vanilla, graham cracker, lactose, and notes, tart citrus, graham. 5%.
5%?
Oh, and I know Matt keeps track, so let me say what this one was. This one was
5.2, right?
5%.
Oh, 5.
So both of them are 5%. So, yeah, that's Branch and Bones, Key Lime Pie Berliner. 4.25 and a 4.5. Amazing.
Excellent.
Amazing scores.
Man, you hit 2 home runs today.
I did.
Good picker.
I wish I could hit a home run every day. But I don't play baseball every day.
You hit home runs in your own way.
Thanks.
Every day.
Appreciate that. That is probably the end.
All right. Special shout out to Matt. Special shout out to Stev and Stev's dad, Steve.
Yeah, Stev's dad, Steve.
Howdy, you guys.
Howdy.
Talking to anybody for a long time.
You talk to him, dude. Lines of communication are open.
I know it. I still owe Stev's dad a call back on
you guys
getting
need
together
to hang out, man.
We do. We need to hang out, and we need a wine tasting
day. Yeah, when
day.
are you guys going to hang out?
It's going to have to be soon.
Do it. Do it. It's never
right.
too late.
Never too
It's
late.
never too late to make a friend.
Nope.
All right. That's it. That's episode 280.
280. Wow.
280.
That's a lot of
We're
episodes.
like a pro podcast at this point.
You guys are totally good.
That's it. Thanks for joining us. See you next week when Matt's back from old Disney.
Bye from Sville.
Bye.